Welcome to the Not Old Better Show, the show covering all things health, wellness, culture, and more. The show for all of us who aren't old, we're better. Each week, we'll interview superstars, experts, and ordinary people doing extraordinary things, all related to this wonderful experience of getting better, not older. Now, here's your host, the award-winning Paul Vogelzang.
Welcome to the Not Old Better Show on radio and podcast. I'm Paul Vogelzang. And today's show is brought to you by Travelan. Travelan is a drug-free alternative to antibiotics. Travelan, the alternative to diarrhea before it starts. As part of our Healthy Travel interview series, we are joined today by returning guest, audience favorite, health, wellness, nutrition, and especially gut health expert, registered nurse, Health Consultant Stacy Koski. Stacy Koski is a registered nurse who works at Balanced Nutrition, educating travelers like those of us in the Not Old Better Show audience about travel medicine, treatment for travel-related illnesses, and the necessary travel vaccinations, working closely with the Center for Disease Control in the World Health Organization. Today's episode takes us on a fascinating journey through the landscape of travel, health, an essential yet overlooked aspect of our adventures abroad. I'm your host, and joining us is the esteemed travel health expert returning guest, audience favorite, Stacy Koski, whose insights have illuminated the paths of countless travelers seeking to explore the world safely and vibrantly. In a world that's more connected than ever, the thrill of discovering new cultures, cuisines, and landscapes comes with its own set of health considerations. From the bustling markets of the Southeast Asia area to the historic streets of Europe, ensuring our health is paramount to experiencing the true joy of travel. Today, Stacy Koski will guide us through the vital steps and innovative solutions for staying healthy on the road, focusing on a game changer in travel health, Travelan. For those listeners who need to be made aware of Travelan, it's a dietary supplement that offers digestive tract protection while either traveling or at home. The Therapeutic Goods Administration, a local health authority in Australia, has listed Travelan as an over-the-counter medication that helps lower the risk of travelers' diarrhea. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Travelan is available worldwide and at Amazon.com and Walmart.com in the U.S. Please check out our show notes today for more information. Whether you're planning your next getaway or just dreaming of distant lands, this episode is your passport to navigating travel health with ease and assurance. Join us as we discover how to travel smart and stay healthy with Stacy Koski. She's leading the way. Welcome to a journey of health, exploration, and peace of mind. Welcome to the Not Old Better Show on radio and podcast. Stacy Koski, travel expert. So great to talk to you. We're going to talk a little bit about this travel expertise that you have, along with all of the health travel expertise that you have. So good to see you again. Thanks for rejoining us. Our audience just loves when you're here with us, and we've got a lot to talk about, really, with travel season kind of coming up. There's spring break that's just about upon us. People are doing some planning for their summer travel schedule, but welcome back to the show. Great to see you, and hope all's well in your world with you and yours.
Thank you so much, Paul. Thanks for having me back.
Yes, always. You know, many in our audience are familiar with you, and of course, you are a repeat popular guest here on the program. But I wonder if you just share with us briefly your own travel health history. What's brought this to the fore in your own professional life, and why is this important to you? And what was it maybe that changed in your own professional history that pivoted to this direction of travel health, particularly when it comes to gut health, because that's important to our audience?
Of course, yeah. Well, so my career started as a registered nurse, and I worked in intensive care. And so much of my time was focused on trying to keep people alive or dealing with them at end stage life. And after some years of doing that, I realized that I wanted to focus more in primary care health and helping people from getting sick or slowing down their aging process so that they could really enjoy life and their vitality. And so I actually started studying nutrition and then fell into the space of travel medicine. And even though they're two very different spectrums, they all are in the space of preventative medicine and, working on helping people have a good quality of life. So myself, I've always loved to travel, and I loved going new places and trying new things, and have had my own issues with health and traveling as I've learned. And I realized that just as important it is to help people with nutrition to make sure that they're making good choices to live a healthy and happy life, traveling and making good decisions and making sure they're making healthy and positive choices can impact their quality of life as well. And gut health being a huge one, because we've learned over the years that our gut controls so much of our body, and our food that we put in our mouth controls so much of our energy and our health and wellness. So it somehow all melds together in this perfect little harmony of education.
Well, we appreciate it. And we appreciate all the time that you spend on this subject, the research, all of the information that you're really sharing with us is so important to our audience. Let's talk for a second about innovation within travel health, because this is a field that's constantly changing. Our audience really, I think, needs to be as current as possible. And the thing that's always impressed me so much about you is that you're just that. You stay current. You really are about making sure that we understand the most relevant, timely information. So maybe share with us what it is that's new and what you find particularly exciting about this field of research around travel health.
So I think one of the coolest things in travel health medicine is that we have adopted a new practice for treating or preventing, I guess, travelers' diarrhea. So before, old school, we really said, okay, you're going to probably eat or drink something on your trip and get Bali belly or Monsuna's revenge, which is traveler's diarrhea with a fun, fancy name for the location.
Right.
And you're going to just have to take an antibiotic after you get sick, which is going to probably ruin a couple days of your trip. Now we have an amazing product, and the new standard of care is really to prevent travelers' diarrhea, because we understand how important our gut health is. And one of the leading products on the market is actually a product called Travelan, which uses hyperimmune bovine colostrum, which that's a lot of fancy words, but a lot of people know what colostrum is. It's breast milk. But this bovine colostrum that's hyperimmune actually has antibodies in it that are associated with what helps it to attack and fight these top bacteria like E. coli or Salmonella that can get into our system and hurt us. So again, it's like we're protecting one of our most important assets in our body, which is our gut, which can prevent all kinds of diseases and other issues later on. And I find this to be one of the biggest evolutions, because we now have a prevention. How cool is that?
Yeah, that's awesome. I wrote that down. I want to make sure and repeat that. We're going to put that down in our notes, just right in this lower third area. But hyperimmune bovine colostrum, antibodies providing a safe product against E. coli, all of that kind of material. You know, when I think about the challenges that come from travel, getting sick is among the highest in terms of wrecking my travel plans. I wonder if you'd talk about some of those challenges and how, in particular, they're very prevalent for my audience. And we're thinking about this, those of us who are over age 60, we really believe that travel and wellness go hand in hand, and we want to be able to travel. What is it about this area that provides some challenges, but also some triumphs when it comes to Travelan as a product?
Absolutely. Well, when we travel, we strain our immune system naturally because we're eating sugary foods. We're maybe more dehydrated than we are. We're taken out of our normal routine. So as a result, our body's already strained a little bit. And then on top of it, we're trying new foods. So we always want to support our immune system naturally with supplements and herbs and things, but we also want to protect one of our main immune protectors, which is our gut health. And again, Travelan is an option for that because it's going to protect us from bacterium that would eventually make us sick. And then as a result, also predispose us to getting the flu or anything else like that. So I think of it as putting together a wellness pack. If you love to travel, you want to maintain your vitality and your energy the whole time. So you have a little kit that basically encompasses all these things that help all your system thrive. Vitamin C, maybe zinc, but also something that's going to protect your gut health, because guess what? You eat and drink the whole time you're traveling. So it's almost impossible to avoid having some level of exposure. So why not utilize something for prevention?
It's not just my age group who are doing a lot of traveling. Certainly the U.S. military does that and is so concerned about their gut health that they also use the Travelan project. The Travelan product. We're going to put a link here so that in terms of scientific reference and research, our audience can find out more about what the U.S. Department of Defense is doing. I think that's just such a powerful example of how this product works for all of us. And I wonder if you'll tell us a little bit more in detail about some of these health risks that all of us are going to experience. What are some of the most common ones, and how does prevention factor into that?
Yeah, well, obviously, traveler's diarrhea is probably the top incidents that people encounter when they're traveling internationally. And it doesn't really matter if you're staying at the St. Regis or the Ritz-Carlton or at a hostel. We're all at risk for it because it's coming from food and water and, things that we're having to put in our mouth all day long while we're on these wonderful trips. The U.S. Department of Defense, oh my gosh, their study is phenomenal. They've actually been studying Travelan for the use of protecting against cholera. And interestingly, that vaccine is only approved up to 64. So anyone who's over that age is unable to be vaccinated. And Travelan steps in and is able to provide those patients with protection as well. And if you don't know what cholera is, it actually comes from food and water as well. So again, all these things that we're putting in our mouth and we can't go a day without. These risks are real, and to be able to provide protection to somebody that they can't get from a vaccine is amazing. And the study by the U.S. Department of Defense in terms of the efficacy of this hyperimmune bovine colostrum that has these anti-E. coli antibodies that are fighting off these bacterium in the system is amazing.
Again, we'll put links so that our audience can find out more information about what the U.S. Department of Defense is doing and some of the scientific references that Stacy's been making. Our guest today, of course, is Stacy Koski, a well-known travel health expert. Been on the program before, popular with our audience. Stacy, let's talk about specifically this mechanism of action that Travelan brings with it, because I think that is potent. I like to drive that message home with our audience because I think it's one that bears repeating, but it's also one that is unique to the Travelan product.
Yeah. Well, so I like to visualize it as the fact that you eat something and then inside your digestive system, you have these little army men, which are the hyperimmune bovine colostrum, and they're able to, maybe this isn't exactly scientific, but they're almost like you can imagine them encapsulating them into like a little thing and pulling them out of the body before they can manifest and grow into an infection, which is, essentially people are getting an infestation that causes them to have diarrhea because their body's trying to get it out, right? Something yucky they don't want. Right. So the hyperimmune bovine colostrum is basically neutralizing the E. coli or the salmonella and removing it from the body before it can latch on and do its dirty deeds inside your body. And as a result, you never get sick. So your body's doing a lot of work, but for you, you're just carrying on and really enjoying your vacation without a care in the world, except for making sure you take your pill.
And importantly, another good reminder, this is not an antibiotic. Often we can become immune to certain antibiotics. That's not the case with Travelan.
That's correct. So antibiotics are kind of we deter people from taking antibiotics now, because not only are they killing the bad guys in our digestive system, they're also killing all the good guys. Travelan is not the case. It's completely safe, and it actually isn't an antibiotic at all. It's its own totally different mechanism in action, and it protects the good guys. So it gets rid of the bad ones, but it also leaves the good ones to do all the good work that it does. And like we were talking about with the immune system, those good antibodies that are in our digestive system, our good bacteria, probiotics, let's think of it like that. Those are helping to keep our immune system strong and keep our body strong too. So by utilizing a product that not only gets rid of the bad guys, but also has no civilian casualties,
Yeah, love that.
that's the golden ticket. That's amazing.
I love that. That's great. That is the golden ticket. Well, Stacy Koski, this is also helpful. I want to shift gears for just a moment and talk about some of the travel health myths. There's a lot of misconceptions out there about travel and health, particularly when it comes to gut health. Maybe give us 2 or 3.
Oh, my favorite one is, oh, it's ice, it's cold, so it kills everything. Oh my goodness. Ice is like, I think of cryo freezing, right? If you cryo freeze a body to keep it alive. So when ice keeps the bacteria alive until it melts in your body and then releases those bacteria. I always think if it's cooked, it's dead. If it's cold or ice, it's still alive. So that's what I'm always trying to encourage people to realize, like, we don't want ice. We don't want things that are frozen or cold, like a popsicle. Like, those are the things that are risky.
Good. Well, thank you. And on the other end of the spectrum, the things that really work, in addition to Travelan, tell us a little bit about fitness and exercise and incorporating that into our travel so that we're healthy in the gut, but we're also healthy in mind and body too.
Absolutely. Daily movement has continued to be one of the best ways to keep our body strong, keep our muscles strong, and as a result, make us continue to feel thriving because we get good endorphins that are released. We decrease cortisol levels in our body. And when we travel, I think a lot of times people think, oh, well, I have to go work out for an hour. I have to go walk for so long. It really minimal things. Even if you move your body for 15 minutes in a positive way, you walk instead of taking the elevator, all these little bits of movement help to keep you strong. And I like always thinking of the muscle as like a kind of like a tightening mechanism. Having strong muscles helps to keep our muscular skeletal system intact and strong. So daily, moderate exercise or movement, we could call it, is imperative for your strength, your energy levels, and also for your overall immune system.
Just because you're on vacation doesn't mean you don't need to get a little bit of kind of body exercise. You don't have to do everything that you might do while you're at home, but be creative. Enjoy being kind of out and about.
Absolutely.
Let's talk a little bit about technology and connectivity. When we travel, maybe some of us prefer to be off the grid, but there's a lot of wonderful technology that can kind of help us track some of this gut health and some of our health with respect to our nutrition. Tell us a little bit about some of the new technology that's available to do that.
I think some of the coolest things with technology is that, let's say you have a food allergy or you're trying to avoid things, you're actually able to use your phone or technology to locate places where you can obtain food that you can eat or you want to eat, which that used to not be the case. You have to eat whatever you found on the corner of the street right there. So I think that helps people to make very educated and maybe safer choices. I also think it's really important that people understand, and this is a great opportunity now that we have technology, is that you can know about real alerts of health issues going on in the region that you're in. And that might be different than what you knew about when you were still back in the US, but it's been 3 months and something has changed. And so you're able to have real-time awareness of what's going on around you and in your environment. Because something about diseases, they are not stagnant. They are constantly changing and evolving, and risks, like from a health and wellness perspective, are always changing, sometimes for good, but sometimes for bad. And number one thing for me is always education and awareness. So I think that's an amazing opportunity that we have now because of technology.
That's so helpful. As you were talking about some of these areas, I want to make sure that our audience pays attention to the global map, the global risk map of diarrhea that we're going to put up on the screen. Pay attention to this. Know that it does change, just as Stacy tells us, and use some of this technology so that you can stay current about how some of this change occurs and where the hot spots are and where some of the spots are that you can travel and feel safe. So, Stacy, let's talk for a second just about the idea of aging and nutrition. That's a topic that I know that you pay close attention to. It's one that I think has relevance to this idea of travel health, but in particular, tell us a little bit about the role of nutrition and aging and how nutrition is just so important and so critical to us as we age so that we can do so in a healthy way, but feel that vitality.
Yeah. I mean, so we're all aging, right? It's
Yeah.
something that we can't avoid,
Yeah. Yeah.
unfortunately. But we have found over the years that we can age more gracefully or slower. And that can come from what we put in our body because phytonutrients and antioxidants all help our body to kind of resist the aging process. Antioxidants help counterbalance the free radicals we produce in our body, or something as simple as consuming bone broth. My grandfather's 95 and he used to always make bone broth, which I thought was so strange, out of carcasses. But the bone broth actually has amazing sources of collagen and also tons of nutrients in it that helps to keep our immune system strong and keep our skin looking young and all of these things. So it's like adding something like that into your day-to-day diet could be all the change in the world, one from an energy perspective, but also just how you feel. And I think that when people start prioritizing and understanding that what we put in our mouth directly impacts our energy and the way we exist in the world, and how that can impact their ability to travel and actually enjoy the travel that they're on, right? That's a big difference, right?
Yeah,
Can
yeah.
you travel? Maybe. Can you enjoy what the trip that you're on? That's the key. And if we're giving our body whole foods, things with life force, things that are helping to give us energy and even heal our body, then how much better is that trip that you've been planning for such a long time?
That's so helpful. Stacy Koski, it's always so great to talk to you. You have the latest research. You have a real concern, I think, for our audience, and you just have such a passion and joy about this. It makes it really great, I think, for us to share this information. I just have one final question for you, and it ties in with what I found on an email from you in your signature line. I love these words you say: be courageous, be happy, and be human. So maybe tell us about those three aspects of your professional world and the legacy that you are leaving in terms of your professional life and how that impacts us too as we age.
I love that you saw that too.
I love that.
So be courageous. I mean, I think that there's a level of courage that has to come with making a decision to change the way you're living your life now and saying, you know what? I've done this for 40 years, but today I'm going to make a change and I'm going to step forward with help maybe, but I'm still going to commit to it and live a better second half of my life. Be happy, just finding joy, just helping people to see that in life we can have a lot of struggles, but we can also find a lot of joy in our life. And you would think, how does nutrition have anything to do with being happy? But it's amazing how when we get our bodies right in terms of what we're eating and how we're fueling our system, how much happy we are. I mean, I don't like being around somebody that's hangry. And I also don't like being around someone who's so full, all they want to do is lay down because they're cranky, right?
All right.
So teaching people to find that joy and find that lust for life again, and by way of figuring out what foods make them feel that way. And then being human, because I feel as though in today's world, we're expected to fit into these molds and everything's so extreme. And I'm really all about, we're all human. We all make mistakes. We all make indulgences here and there. And, bringing it back to the reality that we can still make a huge impact for our overall life and also how we impact the world, even if we slip up every once in a while. And so having the courage to step forward, finding happiness and joy again in your life to make you feel thriving and wanting to step out that door every morning and carpe diem and finally being human about it also, and knowing that you're not going to be perfect every day, but that doesn't mean that you're failing. It just means that the next choice you make, we get back on track.
Stacy Koski, travel health expert. nutrition expert. It's always so great to talk to you. I think our audience needs to pay attention to this. But absolutely be courageous, be happy, be human. Listen to Stacy Koski on all of these issues. Stacy, great to talk to you. Selfishly, I'm excited to have you back soon, and I know we'll stay in touch. We will have information in our show notes as well as here at the bottom of the screen about how our audience can find out more information about Stacy Koski and all of her great work. Stacy, congratulations on all your work. Thanks so much for your time today, for being so generous, so thoughtful, and just being so inspiring.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure.
Thanks to Travelan for sponsoring today's show. Remember, Travelan is a drug-free alternative to antibiotics. And thank you so much to Stacy Koski, health, wellness, nutrition, gut health expert, registered nurse, health consultant. Stacy does it all. Stacy's joined us again about travel-related diseases. It's important to discuss this, especially at this time of year. Stacy Koski will be back soon to discuss many other travel, nursing, and nutrition subjects. So please stay tuned for more of Stacy Koski in the future. But thanks to you, our wonderful audience, here on the Not Old Better Show on radio and podcast. Remember, talk about better, the Not Old Better Show. For those listeners who need to be made aware of Travelan, it's a dietary supplement that offers digestive tract protection while either traveling or at home. The Therapeutic Goods Administration, a local health authority in Australia, has listed Travelan as an over-the-counter medication that helps lower the risk of travelers' diarrhea. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Travelan is available worldwide and at Amazon.com and Walmart.com in the U.S. Please check out our show notes today for more information.
Thanks for joining us this week on the Not Old Better Show.